There's something about humanity that loves a good story. We make sense of the world through stories, and we connect with the experiences of others. And then somehow in the middle of it all, we find that our own stories are woven into this grander narrative. We are all a part of something that is so much bigger than ourselves. History is his story, and it's a tale of redemption. It's the tale of a broken-hearted father's loving pursuit of his prodigal children. The church is the body of Christ on the earth, one body with many parts, diverse but unified. It's hard to believe that it's just 5 years since Liberty Church began. Our dream is to build Liberty Church on love, truth, freedom, family, and others. Our prayer is that those 5 core values will be seen even more than they're heard through lives transformed by grace.
I had grown up in church, a good Christian girl, came to New York City, and honestly, I thought I was strong enough to stay true to myself, but I don't think 18-year-old Chelsea knew what being true to yourself really was. When I first started coming, I just had so much baggage and so much bondage, to be honest, and I would come it and I would love it so much, but then I would take 1 step forward and 2 steps back because I didn't think that freedom was for me. From then, I joined a community group and I attended it. I had joined community groups before and had pretty shoddy attendance. And I remember just so quickly growing so closely to these women that we could just share and pray for each other and cry with each other. And I remember, so it was a fall community group. My birthday was coming up in November. I was nervous because I didn't know if anyone was gonna come or celebrate, and the girls threw Jackie and myself, another girl in the community group, a surprise birthday party. And I just remember saying wow, they would do this for me, only knowing me for 2 months. That's how much they care. I realized that God made me to be in community, that He made me to pour into others, and that was actually part of my purpose. There's not an area of my life that hasn't been touched and transformed by God.
Freedom is a core value of our house, so it's no surprise that it was the central theme of our first ever conference as we launched She is Free this last year. It was a sold-out crowd months in advance, and it was just so much fun to watch the women come and gather as they encountered God in a personal and powerful way.
We also launched a movement for the men of our church called The Company, with the common cause of seeing manhood restored to the image of Christ. There's just nothing quite like seeing men pursuing Jesus with all that they are and calling out the greatness in each other.
Before Liberty, I was traveling a lot between New York and LA. When I got back to New York, Sean had found Liberty. He's a good friend of mine, and he just got me at the right time to say, hey, check out this church. I was getting near my 40s and I wasn't married, and I was just thinking what's wrong with this picture? I was successful in so many different ways by world standards, but I just saw so many great couples and so many people working together in this covenant relationship and raising families and children, and it just really helped me shift. Serving the kingdom is really your purpose, not serving yourself. We met at Liberty, and it just so happened we just had the same friends, and we'd be going to the same events and serving in the same capacity.
We started connecting more because we both had similar business interests. We talked about starting a business together. Andrew and I started meeting for coffee or tea, and he was very encouraging to me. We went to the all-team meeting. He sits next to me, and I hear the small voice of God say, "He's your husband."
And this is a part about redemption. This is a part about when you are baptized in Christ, you are born again and you are new. And this is the whole thing. I was new, she was new. And now our life experiences brought us together and made us perfect for each other. The modeling of family, not just the friends, but I can't say this stuff without getting emotional because it's my heart, but Jenny and Greg are like parents to us, and Bob and Mavis are like parents. And the way the pastoral care comes in and the way they take care of you in premarital counseling, the way they just are loving parental figures in our life. For all the men who thinking, like I was, I'm a good guy, why haven't I found? Well, maybe I didn't do the groundwork, and when I became closer to Christ, when I dived into the Word more, when I became more Christ-like because I was closer to Him, then I prepared myself to be blessed in every which way.
This year, our pastoral care team has cared for literally hundreds of people, from prayer ministry to hospital visitation, pre-marriage counselling to support for new parents. We count it an honour to stand with our Liberty family through the highs and the lows of life.
I don't think that you realize how much you miss community or how much you need community until you find true community. And then when you do, you're like, oh, this is what I've missed and this is what I've needed. I don't think community is the ultimate purpose, but I think that community helps you find the ultimate purpose and have fun doing it together.
We've really focused this year on building strong families and empowering the generations. Our Liberty Kids team is amazing. We held our first family social events and a beautiful Christmas production amidst a year of phenomenal growth.
I found Liberty after a 7-year drought of looking for churches. Pretty much what happened is that after I had my daughter, my first daughter, I have 2, who has special needs, it was difficult to find a church that could accommodate those circumstances. In the past, because we couldn't bring our children to church, my husband and I would tag team on going to church. So one week I would go, and then he would go, and someone would stay with the kids, and somebody else would go. And at times, even with a husband, it's been a very lonely, sad, alienating experience. And there were times where I felt really alone. I just happened to find Liberty during an online search. I was promised a phone call by the director of Liberty Kids, and I was like, okay, they'll get to it, whatever. So he called me, and we stayed on the phone for a half an hour. It was wonderful, and he shared about challenges he had in his youth. And so that first Sunday when I took Ava to Liberty Kids, she was pretty much his helper, and she was just happy. She wanted to come back from day one. And just having the comfort of knowing not just that my children are okay, but that they're engaged and they're learning about Jesus. You want children to know about Jesus. And one of the ways that you ensure that is by sowing into the next generation.
Jesus said, even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. The gospel has always been about others.
Liberty Foundation continues to sow hundreds of thousands of dollars each year into missions and church planting as we focus on planting local churches globally. We've supported over 50 church plants to date, including pioneering 4 of our own. In the upcoming year, our largest missions projects to date are unfolding in cities from Swaziland to India and Honduras. In partnership with Children's Cup, we'll establish a much-needed community centre right in the heart of Swaziland's largest city, Manzini, that will offer youth programs, skills training, practical aid for the poor, and perhaps even a church. And for the first time, we're reaching into Central America as we begin a new partnership in Honduras. We'll be helping a highly successful feeding program in an urban slum on the outskirts of the capital, Tegucigalpa, become a full-blown care point and offer holistic care for every child. With 1.3 billion souls, India represents one of the largest mission fields for the gospel on earth. Through Biju Thampi, Vision Rescue, and their network of 3,000 churches across the nation, we'll help train pastors and church planters to help reach the fast-growing cities of India and send teams to provide practical support and training.
Through Liberty City, we're serving our neighborhoods, we're meeting needs, and we're helping transform communities with no strings attached.
We actually got a flyer in the mail for a new church plant that was being planted in Brooklyn. So we didn't make the launch service, but we did check out the second service in Brooklyn and fell in love with it immediately. Really had a heart for the homeless and was emailing my friends at Liberty to come and serve. And that led to Justin seeing that there was a need for a Liberty City leader, and then he reached out to me and Natalie to take that on. You know, it really all started from me meeting a friend. She brought me to Ingersoll Community Center, which serves 4 different housing projects, and there I was able to meet the director, who she knew, named Samantha, and we were able to partner with her. And she said that the kids really need hygiene supplies. We were able to get sponsorship for the backpacks that supply all the toothbrushes and toothpastes, over 200 hygiene packs. So God really just pulled together the resources of the church, the community. We actually were able to meet all the needs of the students. Neither Natalie or me have ever done anything like this, and we were overwhelmed. Every person in our community group really took ownership of the event. We had a bunch of guys doing all the sports with the kids, a bunch of girls also doing face painting and cotton candy machine, and we had the 88th precinct come out, and officers were there just showing their support for this event. Ingersoll Community Center put "Thank You Liberty" on their door, on their storefront door for the whole community to see. So the goal of Liberty City is to display God's heart to people, His compassion, His love for the poor, the widow, and the orphan. And some people may never experience a church service or to be in the community that we experience at Liberty. And my goal is to bring all the benefits that we have, but bring it to those outside of the church.
It's been 5 incredible years with thousands of stories now. And with each new chapter, the story unfolds. Yet in many ways, we're just getting started. Since the very beginning, it's been our dream to establish a community on the Upper West Side. In fact, our very first gathering took place there around a Central Park picnic table. We're so honored to have recently adopted Christ Fellowship NYC into the Liberty Church family to help us launch Liberty Church Upper West Side. We're gathering in the beautiful New York Society for Ethical Culture on Central Park West. And so the family continues to grow, now with 4 communities as we celebrate our 5th anniversary as a church. We're a church planting church with a vision that reaches from our neighborhoods to the nations. Isaiah 54 says, "Enlarge your house, build an addition, spread out your home and spare no expense. For you'll soon be bursting at the seams, and your descendants will occupy other nations and resettle the ruined cities." So let's enlarge our house and make room for more. Let's serve our city and the nations, and let's see His kingdom come and His will be done on earth as it is in heaven.